Welcome to Burning the Edge. We would like to welcome to the T our host, Mr. Arthur Miller Jr.
We got the St. Jude Classic coming up this week. Starting on Thursday. They got them going out in threesomes. I think Thursday and Friday, man. This got to be one of the best groups that has ever played together. You got 1, 2, and 3 in the world going out together. Scotty Scheffler, Jon Rahm, and Rory McIlroy teeing off. I think it was like in the afternoon.
Well,
they tee off like 10 something.
I didn't know they were playing together.
They are playing together the first round. I mean, like the whole gallery. The whole gallery there on Thursday, Friday gonna be following one group, man. It's gonna be crazy, man.
How do you think they pick those? They just pick them out of a hat?
I think they're going by the rankings. So I think 1, 2, and 3 is where they're ranked.
I was wondering if they was like us. Do they call somebody up and say, "Hey, man, can you put me with Rahm? I'll see what I can do, buddy."
Yeah, that would be interesting, right? Rory probably be like, "Hey, don't y'all be putting me with no damn Phil. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Anybody but Phil."
Yeah.
Hey man, how do you feel about the St. Jude, the FedEx St. Jude Championship being in Memphis, though, the first round of the playoffs?
Man, I'll be honest with you. When I was all excited about maybe getting a go, and then I guess it was last year, I was wanting to come over there and play in that tournament because y'all had one there last year. Was that last year?
Yeah, that was last year. Yep.
But I waited too late on that, and then can't go to this year. But I not until just like a few weeks ago did I realize that was the playoffs.
Really?
They played there. I don't know why I didn't know that, or I don't know. I just thought it was a regular PGA event.
Well, it used to be, of course.
Yeah, but then I did think it was weird that all these big names they were talking about being there. I was like, man, everybody's going to this thing. But then I'm watching that. What was this weekend? The Wyndham Classic or whatever?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, dang, that's the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's that nice of a course, though, I guess, huh?
It's a TPC course. I mean, it's nice. Yeah. They grow the rough thick this time of the year. Usually, I got a group. One of the guys, he's a member there, and we usually play there like on that Tuesday after, whenever the tournament is. And that rough is like unbelievable, man. Like we have to make a rule. If you hit your ball in the rough, really much, you just take a free drop in the direction of where you think it was or whatever.
Because you can't find it.
Nah, you can't find that crap. If you find it, because it's by accident. It ain't on purpose that you find it, But yeah, so I'm excited about that, even though I won't be in town, man. It's just I don't know how my in-laws schedule this thing like this, man. I don't know how I missed it. I just missed it.
Me
wasn't paying attention.
Man.
And I'm really pissed off at it.
You treated me like the Razorbacks. You built me up and talked about it, and then boom! I'm gonna be in Gatlinburg. All right, buddy. It's like Razorback football. It's like Razorback football. They start out 5-0, boy, and you're like, boy, it's the year here. The first conference game. I know.
It is messed up, man. You know what?
That was rough.
I've come to realize in sports, man, being a sports fan, like you have a lot of letdowns. Like it's not a whole lot of stuff that just really like let you just they keep you going like you start out, It's always this big letdown eventually, It's unreal, man.
Yeah. I always tell my mom, I said, man, why did you raise me a Razorback fan? You could have picked another team that wins more often. That's what we are. That's what she said. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got to get? A 50 to go on to the next stop? Is that what you got to do?
You got to get to
50 to go to the next tournament.
Well, yeah, now after the 70, yeah.
Yeah, so I take maybe 70 can get to 50, but 70 is not going to 70 to 1.
Nah.
So he's just out there practicing pretty much.
Yeah.
Or at least trying to like get a little bit more money.
Yeah.
But no, maybe 70 may be too much, to be honest with you. That may be too many players.
So it was 125 last year,
Yeah.
970 that qualified
Oh,
for
they
the
let
first round.
125 in last year?
Yeah,
Oh, Lord. Everybody got a trophy.
yeah. So I would say I thought it should have been more than 70, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
first round, but not 125. Like everybody shouldn't get to the playoffs, but
Yeah.
maybe around 100 or so, somewhere along in there. But I'm sure it's a reason why they did the 70. I don't know. But 70 to 50 and then at 35, I think it is.
I think they should do it like March Madness. I think it ought to be a bracket. It ought to be a match play. 70 is the 16th seed in March Madness, and they got to play the
one
one.
seed.
And there could be some crazy upsets like
Yeah.
March Madness.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you got some cat from the Corn Ferry done messed around and got to the Final Four. I'd like to see. Who won it last year?
Last year was John Rahm, wasn't it?
John Rahm won the playoffs last year.
Let's see who won.
But it wasn't whoever started out in first, though, was it?
Nah, I think they caught up with him.
Yeah,
last year.
that's crazy.
It was another year though. It happened the same day. Now Rory won it last year.
That's what I thought. Yeah, Rory. Yeah. But he didn't start out in first.
No, Rory didn't even play. He missed the cut in the first round of the playoffs.
He still made it?
Yeah, because he was so far up.
Oh.
As far as the points.
Yeah, no, but if you missed the cut, bro, you're out.
You're out. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
To me now, like, you should miss the cut if you if you miss the cut, like, you should be out of the playoffs. Like,
you gotta go home.
How do you continue? I don't know, but
it should be 1, 2. Excuse me. It should be 1, 2, 3 Cancun if you missed the cut.
Like, yeah, I don't get it, man. But
but who? I think Scheffler was going into it last year as the leader. Because what do you start off at? Like minus 20 or something? Or minus 10? I can't remember how they do it.
Let's see. Yeah, you start out minus 10. The first person is minus 10, 3. And then where was Rory? Rory must have been on down there. Yeah, Rory was 6 or was 7th.
Can you tell what he started out at?
He started out at 4 under.
Man, so he had Scheffler had a 6-stroke lead on that dude. Yep. Go on, Rory.
Yep.
I like Rory McIlroy.
I do too, man. He a humble dude, man. I like humble dude. I like folk that, like all that. I don't like all that old cocky bull crap, man. Like, I mean, I understand you good, but you don't have to act like you that good. You know what I mean? Like, it's still at one time or at any time you could shank a ball too. Or you could slice one out of bounds too. Like, they all do it. So don't act like you don't never hit a ball out of bounds or something,
Yeah, I was watching that tournament this past weekend, and Horschel had kind of played his way out of it, but he still had a crazy. Then he gets up to like 16 or 15 tee box. Boy, Doug hooks one right out of bounds.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
This dude is human.
Yeah. It's did you see JT on his last hole?
Yeah, where he almost chipped it in.
Yeah, man, he'd made the chip. Yeah. I was like, somebody was like, why he didn't get Bones to man the flag? That's what Phil would have done. Phil had Bones man the flag from 100 yards out, You
can man the flag like that?
Yeah, you can have your caddy tend the flag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you had to be putting.
No, you can get him to tend the flag, And
so who do you think is the best golfer in the world right now?
It's really tough to say. Like, all of these guys are good. Like, they all are good. From week to week, it really just depends on the course to me. Yeah. Like, either one of them could win. Like, who won last week at the Wyndham? No, what's his name?
What's the dude's name?
Was it Wyndham Clark? No, it wasn't Wyndham Clark. It was an older guy.
What's the dude's name? Real deep voice.
Yeah. But Lucas Glover won it, and
I was wanting the Henley dude to win because I don't think he's won before. And they said last year, a year before, he had that tournament won and he choked it off on the back nine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, he's won before.
Oh, Henley has?
Yeah, he got 4 wins.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Well, he was supposed to win that last year, a year before, and he choked it off, he said.
Yeah. But, he's a good player, too. All them cats good, man. I don't, like, it really just depends on the week, what course it is. Like, this week, you're going to need to stay out there rough.
Yeah.
This week and that East Lake, you got to stay out the rough. Like, you can't.
Southwind, do they go low there usually?
Yeah, they go pretty low. It's probably going to be around in the teens for sure. Yeah. At least in the teens.
I miss the days when you had to shoot 1 under to win.
Yeah. That's the U.S. Open. In the Open, you be 3 under for the whole round.
They said that this year, and whoever won it just killed it.
Yeah.
I can't remember who won. Somebody never won a major before.
Yeah, right? They won. They real low on their first day. First day. And then it was kind of like that at Wyndham. Not Wyndham. What was I thinking about? Yeah, at Wyndham. The winner end up shooting only 2 under. I couldn't believe it. I was like, because they end up at like 20 under, 21 under.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, 2 under for one day?
Yeah.
And you average like 6 under a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So man, we're looking forward to the St. Jude playoffs this week. And before we get into that, we got Tony Wise. We interviewed this week. What did you think about Tony, man?
Tony Wise was such a player. He laid down in his bed to do the interview. That's just playerism right there, Arthur. You know you can play some golf if you get on a golf podcast and lay in your bed. You lay back like, yeah, bruh, I qualified for the Senior Open. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The club got stolen. I still went out there and whooped everybody to qualify. I just dreamed to be this dude one day.
I know, right? I can't wait to meet him. And I'm like, hey, man, you need to give me some pointers, man, because I need to know how do I qualify for. I can't even right now. I can't even win the Amateur Players Tour. Well, thank you, man, for coming on, man, and just trying to chat with you a little bit. We was excited for you going to the Senior Open. Just excited about your whole journey, man. Just to know that you kind of picked up the game, picked the bang back up, and you've been having all this success. I'm kind of jealous. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, I can tell you that, after coaching high school basketball for 25 years, I was kind of ready for something different. And I've always played golf and really I've never taken it. I don't want to say I haven't taken it serious, because that's not true, but really taking it serious to see, okay, let's see how far we can go here.
Right.
And, that's kind of what oddly enough, it all started during 2 Mays ago. So I guess that'd be 21. I go down to Chattanooga to try and qualify for the U.S. Senior Open. First time ever trying something like this. It was on Tuesday after Memorial Day. So McCaddy and I go down on Sunday, play the course. It's, how would I describe it? I would say pretty difficult. Had my first experience with Tiff Bermuda. Played really, really well. Ended up shooting even and finished in a tie, I think, for like 8.
Wow.
4 under went, 2 under. 2 or 3 2-unders had in the playoff. So, at that point, I was kind of like, hold on a second. And we had just finished, the season. We had gone to the regional tournament, won a regional game, the school I was at for 7 years, for the second time in 25 years.
Wow.
Okay. Our school had 900 kids. the top tiers had 18 to 2,200. So that's what we were fighting against. Just sheer number games. So anyway, so at that point, I was kind of like, hold on a second. And I was teetering about quitting anyway. I hate the word quit, but
Yeah.
I'd had enough after 25 years. So I thought about it. And, had a lot of success that summer and resigned in August. And 2 weeks later, I won the Kentucky Senior State Am in 21. And ever since then, man, I'm just trying to get better. And, I joined the APT last year, my first year doing it, which I try to tell people all the time, what's the big deal about the Amateur Players Trust? So I said, how good is the competition? I said, well, I'm going to be honest. This is the Division I. Depending on where I go, if it's a national event, let's say the Nationals,
Right.
there's probably, let's say 25 people sign up in Division I. I would say probably 10 of those can shoot par better.
Right.
Most cannot, mainly not because they're not capable, but tournament golf's a little bit different animal.
Absolutely.
And, anybody can make a free throw in the middle of the first quarter. Put 16 seconds up there, and now you're ahead by 1.
Right.
Now let's see what you can get. Let's see what you got now.
Right.
It makes a little difference when you can tap in a 3-footer for par on the first hole.
Right.
But that same 3-footer on 16 or 17 with a 1-shot difference in a tournament, well, that makes a little bit different.
Absolutely.
So the one thing that the APT has done for me is just so much tournament golf. And I've been very fortunate to win a lot. But, I've had to learn. For example, in January, I went to Phoenix and played at the 2 weeks before the Waste Management Open, but played at the Champions course, not the stadium course, where they throw all the beer and all that, act like fools, and it's so fun to watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I go to the 18th hole with a 2-shot lead, and I'm 5 under. So I try to play conservative, hit a hybrid on the toe, hooked it in the water, end up chunking a chip, made 7, and went straight to the Italian restaurant that I planned on going to. Went straight to the bar, made friends with the bartender. About 2 hours later before my flight, I was taking pictures with the bartender. I was blowing off some steam. I was so pissed off.
I bet you were.
But I was very disappointed in how it finished. But that was that kind of spurred me on to, man, I'm really not that far off.
Right.
So then I found out the Champions Tour Q School is there.
Wow.
Last year and this year. So that's something that, I've kind of tossed around, but not really, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I enjoy amateur golf. I hate the fact that, how can I say this? It's weird that I can, as a 53-year-old, how I can try and qualify for the U.S. Senior Open, but I cannot qualify for the U.S. Senior Amateur because that's not till 55. So for seniors between ages 50 and 54, you really just don't have a lot of options,
right?
As far as golf tournaments, I get invited, to some really cool events, but I'm not, as a 53-year-old, I'm not going to play against a 25-year-old that hits at 350.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough.
I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to wait until I turn 55. That's the plan anyway. So anyway, that's kind of where I got started, and the APT. That's those guys have always been great to me, and we go. I've been fortunate to go all over the country and play some really cool places, man. That's the best thing for me, is to play got to play Rio Seco in Vegas, got to play the Champions Course in Phoenix, got to play Pete Dye last year up in both courses in Indiana, got to play the last 2 years Bedford Springs in Pennsylvania, the number 1 public course in Pennsylvania. Played Ambrier last year, like the number 3 public course in St. Louis. I mean, I can go on and on and on.
Right.
Played in February, played Currahee in Georgia. A fabulous course.
Right. I don't know that one.
I haven't even heard of it.
Right. That's what I'm about to say. I've never heard of them.
I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah.
Played in one in Georgia the week before Christmas, which, I mean, it was freaking 35 degrees when we teed off, but it was just some courses that you don't ever hear of that you're fortunate enough to play, man. So you guys do a great job of getting us on some good stuff. It's fun stuff.
It is, man. And my guy Jeff here, y'all got something in common, man. Both of y'all are basketball coaches, man. He coached AAU for several years, and he actually had.
Man, what kind of AAU coach is he? Is he one of those type, or is he like hold kids accountable?
I don't know.
I'm the guy that took a group of kids from a town of 30,000 and didn't take any kids from anywhere else. They were all from 2 high schools here in town. No, probably most of them didn't have dads. If they did, they were in prison or dead. And I was told by 2 policemen that 3 of them would never be nothing. This was when they were 6th graders. They said they'll never be nothing. You shouldn't mess with them. One of them played for the Portland Trailblazers for 4 years. Now he's overseas. Last 5 years, he's made about $3.5 million. So that's the kind of dude I am. No sponsors, sit in front of signs with 3 or 4 buckets. I always took my young kid with me because the people were more apt to give him money. He was short. So they was like, we'll give him money. We'll give this big old dude over here no money.
Who's the guy that played Portland?
His name's Kelvin Blevins.
Kelvin Blevins.
He's Damian Lillard's first cousin, but people think that's how he got on the team, but it wasn't. He got cut the first year. He was on their summer league team and got cut. Then he made it the second year. And then last year, Damian said, man, I can get you back on the team. He's like, no, I don't want to be on the team unless I earn my spot. So he didn't make the cut. He stayed to the last bit. And then so now he went overseas this season and played.
Where's he playing?
He is playing in Greece.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. I can't remember the names of the teams are so long. I can't remember exactly. I couldn't pronounce it if I wanted to, but yeah. So that's
one of the that's cool. One of the best kids that I coached, a kid named Greg Gant in Gainesville, Florida. He is Florida Atlantic's all-time leading scorer, and he's still playing in Spain.
Wow.
Just finished up. Gosh, he's got to be 32 now, 32, 33. So it's really cool to watch kids like that are successful.
Yeah. A kid from my hometown just signed with the Florida Atlantic about a week ago.
Well, I would think Florida Atlantic would have an easier time recruiting after last March.
You would think so, yeah. Yeah. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
So I started playing tournament golf about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was terrified on the first tee box. I mean, just shaking in my shoes.
I know what's coming.
So you go play in this big shindig tournament, right? Well, first before you answer that, was there people lined up on each side of the first tee when you teed off?
Oh man, it was just like Tiger or Rory. There's probably 10, 12,000 people watching me tee off.
Okay, so if this is
so if you believe that,
but there had to be somebody. There had to be somebody out there though.
In all seriousness, there was a teed off on 10 on the first day. There was probably 40 or 50 people in there, and probably another, I would say there was 150, 200 people around the tee box.
Okay, there you go. See, that's plenty of people you could hit. So,
well, they were behind me, so if I hit
them, they weren't on the sides.
No. I didn't notice that.
Okay. So that's what I would have been afraid of. I said, I'm going to get up here, man, and I'm going to duck hook one, and it's going to hit some elderly woman right in the teeth. And that's how my day's going to start. I was just wondering if that ever, but if they weren't there, you didn't have to worry about that. But that's what I've
That's
been.
right.
I've been worried about hitting the fire. I'd be like, please don't hit this old woman over here sitting in this umbrella seat.
Well, it's funny that you kind of mentioned that. Because I have such good friends. Buddy told me, he goes, man, when you get on the first tee, I just have one thought for you. I said, what's that? He goes, dude, just get it airborne. I said, well, I kind of hope I do too.
Did you hit a good first tee shot?
Actually, I hit it about 360.
Dang.
Whoa.
Now it was a little downwind, and the fairways are so hard and firm, and it was because of my club ordeal. It was a new driver. I didn't have time to get nervous because I wasn't comfortable with either the driver or the 3-wood because they're brand new. I had gotten the Paradigms and had only hit them for 5 days. So I was too terrified of that to be nervous of who was watching me.
Well, so I don't know the story about your clubs getting stolen. That's the kind of stories I like.
Shout out to
I like
Callaway.
your clubs getting stolen, but I need to know so mine don't get stolen.
Well, if you stay in a hotel, take them with you.
Did you have
Well, I
them
can tell you.
in a truck, in the back of your truck, or in a car? Or?
2 buddies of mine, the guy caddy for me, another guy who grew up in Columbus, Ohio. We go up on a Tuesday, the 20th of June. We go up and play Muirfield Village. Was gonna play Scioto the next day. So we do it upright at Muirfield. We're there all day long. We eat dinner there. It's the way golf you would think should be from sun up to sundown. So we get back to the hotel about 10:15 or so, and it had rained. So my caddy takes his clubs out, says mine are wet. I'm gonna take them to the room with me. I get mine out, check them. I'm like, I'm good. So I leave them in the car. So the next morning, come out, his car is smashed. His back seat window, not the very back, but the seat behind him, the driver's side, smashed out. Took only my clubs, nothing else.
Dang. I've always been. I leave mine in the back of my truck, like around here. But when I go out of town, I got a bed cover, but you could easily pop it, So I've always been paranoid to leave them in there at a hotel. So I always take them inside. But man, that sucks.
It does. Playing in the biggest tournament of your life and not having your clubs with you. But I refuse to have that as an excuse because it was such a cool experience. And I got new clubs out of it. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna pay for them, but we'll figure that out later when the
good excuse to buy new clubs.
Yeah, just to buy anything.
Yeah,
I thought Callaway must have given them to you.
What's that?
I thought Callaway must have been giving you a sponsorship deal.
We were trying as much free publicity as they got. Probably should have given me something,
right? Man,
but the fact that they got them to me 24 hours later, minus the driver, minus the 3-wood, everything else came on that Thursday. So, yeah, that Wednesday was that was a long day. Because we were actually leaving, but we were leaving on Saturday. One of my good buddies lives in Green Bay, so we were going up to stay with him, play his course, and then going to Century World on Sunday. So I'm leaving in 2 days. I don't have clubs.
Did you go to like Edwin Watts or something and buy a driver?
Nope. No? I have a place in Louisville that I go to get fitted, and went down there and probably rushed through it. If I had to do it over again, I would have stayed longer and made sure I got the right driver, because I found when I came back, I got it adjusted, and I was playing with a driver that was 3/4 of an inch too long for me.
Oh, gotcha. What tee box did y'all play? Y'all play from the tips in that tournament?
Play from 7,200. Now what they did, the USGA does a good job of, like, for example, the tips on the flower hole, which is number 16, are about 205. It's usually into the wind. So the first day we played it from about 170.
That's a par 3, I guess.
Yeah. And they tucked the pin way over on the right behind the bunker. Second day we played it back, all the way back, but the pin was kind of right in the front middle. Gave you a chance to go get it, but you couldn't hold it. You couldn't hold anything on the green.
Man, as much rain we can get everywhere you can. I guess we've been kind of dry at first too, though. Everything been
They had the cool thing about it is I went up 2 weeks before it rained all day and finally got out there about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I had the course to myself. It's a public course. And Century World had not had any public place in September. You're not seeing divots, ball marks. It's like a brand new course. And I had it all to myself. It was so fun.
Yeah.
But then when I came back in 2 weeks, the course had firmed up because it only rained once. It rained real hard on Sunday. Yeah, we didn't get out there until later that afternoon on Sunday. Got 9 holes in. But by Tuesday, it was like playing on blacktop.
Dang.
And the greens were firm and fast. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Was that bent grass greens or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had the morning afternoon weight, and Friday afternoon was probably as hard as the course could get because it was very obvious on Saturday that they had watered the course because it was getting real close to being out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't stop anything. The rough was what it was. I'm hitting clubs off the tee on Friday that I'm thinking are going to be perfect and would roll 40, 50, 60 yards into a bunker. And it's just, it was crazy.
Who
it was crazy. What's that?
Who ended up winning that tournament?
Bernhard Longer.
Yeah, Bernhard. Yep.
And I'll tell you a Bernhard story real quick. We're on Monday. We're on 17. We're playing the back 9. We're playing with Bob May. Couldn't have been nicer. All of a sudden, we're on the green. I turn and look, and I see this guy coming, and it doesn't take long to figure out who it is. He's by himself, no clubs, no bag, no caddy, with his yardage book, stepping off yardages in the fairways, to the green, on the green. It was fascinating.
Wow.
Just very quiet guy, stayed to himself. And on Monday, he was doing that by himself.
This may be a dumb question, but I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So you don't get to use a rangefinder, right?
That's correct.
How do you go about? I mean, so you can't afford to have a caddy go out there a month ahead of time and mark. But what's the, just not a big long story. What's the, I guess, rule of thumb to measure off your yardages?
Okay, so what they do, try to explain the yardage book. One, there's yardages everywhere out there on sprinkler heads. Okay, and they have 2 different colored dots. One kind of the front of the green and one towards kind of the middle of the green. Where when you're doing your measurements, that's what you look at. Okay, you got this far to this dot, and then you look at like I said, it's 150 to the dot. Dot's at the front of the green. The pin is 18 yards back. Boom, you do the math. It's 168.
Okay. I gotcha. And then for slope, that's just something you kind of got to judge, or
you just old school, man. You just got to figure it out.
Yeah, that's.
I just couldn't get it. I only hit 10 fairways and 9 greens on the week.
Wow. Did you play with some big name guys those 2 days? Somebody me and Arthur with them?
The second day, absolutely. The second day played with. I was going to play with. What's his name? A guy named Anthony Rodriguez. A guy I didn't recognize, and I'll think of it in a second. Ken Duke.
Oh, okay.
So we're eating breakfast, and notice that it's just now Anthony Rodriguez and me. I said, "Well, I don't want to play with him. I mean, no disrespect. I won't play with him." So we then look up and see there's a spot with Jeff Sluman, John Houston, and Tim Herron. And so I go straight to the lady and say, "Hey, put me into this one." Types me in. Off we go.
That was a practice round, or?
It's on Tuesday. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I played the front 9 with them.
Were they pretty cool?
Cool as could be.
Wow.
Tim Herron found out I was a teacher, so he called me Teach all week. He probably has no idea what my name is.
Yeah.
Jeff Sluman found out I was from Kentucky, so we talked bourbon for a couple holes. And then, I enjoyed him. His locker was right next to mine, but I really enjoyed him because I don't want to be that guy to, be starry-eyed or whatever. But,
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, man, I'm having trouble with this shot. I don't know how to hit it. Can I ask you how you do that? He goes, oh, yeah. So we throw a couple balls down. He's told me how to hit this shot out of this rough, and the rough's going into you, and the ball's kind of sitting up a little bit. Or if it goes down, I mean, it was just very simple, but he took time to do it. They were great. I enjoyed talking with John Houston, who is 62. He's been playing golf for 41 years.
Wow.
Sluman is 65 or 66. He's been playing for 44 years. So forget Tim Herron. Those two guys had 85 years of professional golf experience.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Did it seem to you that it's a little bit more laid back compared to PGA, or does it still
Yes.
they still real competitive with it?
Yes. No, not at all. They're still competitive, but those guys have their legacies. And so they're not out there trying to get into the Hall of Fame or something like that, because most of them are anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got a guy like Peter Quest, who makes what a great story that guy is, makes at the Detroit tournament, the Rocket Mortgage ends up making the Monday qualifier, finishes 4th.
Oh,
Gets
yeah.
into last week, finishes 24th now,
Right.
or 17th, now has conditionary status
Yeah.
on a PGA Tour, just like that.
Wow.
So you don't have any, you obviously don't, you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
But I talked basketball with Dickie Pride. He used to play basketball. Talked to Kenny Perry. Obviously, there's a guy that I play in an international team event that's best buddies with Kenny Perry. He's exactly what you'd expect him to be. Just super cool. Trying to think, like I said, Bob May would, speak, after we played, and Sluman was, they're just really normal guys. They're just really, really good at golf. It's the best way I can describe it.
That's crazy, man.
So what would you say is what was your expectations going into the week?
Honestly, it got all flipped upside down when my clubs got stolen.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I was when I went and qualified on May 31st, I played at the Cascades course at the Omni Homestead in Hot Springs, Virginia, which is ranked the new Golf Week rankings. It's the 35th best course in the country the public can play. It's right at the base of the mountains. It's beautiful. And I think I ended up hitting 15 greens, took like 27, 28 putts. I've never hit it better. I've never hit it pure. I've never had a short game. Everything, all the hard work was starting to really catch up and really kind of come together. And I didn't play very well at Muirfield because I played it all the way back like an idiot at 7,600 yards. That's too damn long.
Man.
In the wind and the rain and the wet rough. Hell no, that was stupid. That was just stupid. And it was 2 weeks after the PGA tournament was there, where the winner shot -8. It was so hard. I thought Century World was hard. It was so hard. Oh my God. But it was really fun. It's the best back nine I've ever played. I mean, it's just a gut punch right after another. It's really cool. But anyway, I was really playing well. So before that, I had every intention of wanting to make the cut and be low amateur so I can get exempt in the next year so I don't have to qualify again. Because I really, really, really want to go to play Newport Country Club in Rhode Island. Super exclusive. One of the best courses in the country. So that, to honestly answer your question, it just got flipped on its head. I was just kind of hanging by a thread. I'm, again, not making excuses, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I would think that would be like super mental, though. You know what I mean? Like you stand over the ball and you're like, man, this ain't even my club. It is your club now, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know what I would feel like. I mean, I got no problem with my own clubs. I don't know what I'd do with them. Walk out there with a brand new set.
it was frustrating not knowing where it was going. And that's a course that you really just can't miss fairways. And I missed a bunch of them. And so you can't play aggressive, and you're just hacking it out of the rough that Ernie Els called the toughest he's ever played. So, if that's Ernie's toughest rough he's ever played, guess what Tony's number one course is?
Right.
Same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing. So
yeah, that dude done played all over the world.
Exactly. I mean, he's won 2 US Opens too, so, and a British Open. So, it I didn't have any at that point. I didn't know what to expect from anything. So that was frustrating. But again, it was such a cool experience. That overrode everything. I had 6 of my buddies that I went to high school with, drove up. I had a couple of families from our members at our club at Frankfort Country Club in Frankfort, Kentucky that drove up. My wife, my daughters, my brother, one of his best buddies were all there. And I mean, that overrides any kind of bad driving or having some confidence issues on the tee. That was the whole experience was just really cool.
So you already were a super athlete though, right? Or I don't know about the word super. I don't know. I just saw that you was looked like you played football, played basketball, played soccer.
You've done some background work on me. That makes me a little nervous. To be honest with you.
Well, I wanted to know a little something about you before we get you.
It's different back then. When we grew up. All right, what month is it? It's June. Well, let's play baseball. It's the fall. Well, let's play soccer.
Yeah.
So we didn't specialize, and I ended up playing I think 5 sports in high school and 3 in college.
Wow!
Just because I like to play. Now, do I think that probably what happens if I would have focused on 1 or 2 sports instead of just playing year round? You never know.
Right.
But I just enjoyed playing so much. I didn't want to specialize. I didn't want to lift weights. I want to do that. Let's just go play.
Yeah.
Now, so I would say my biggest attributes were I'm not going to out-jump you. I'm not going to outrun you. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. I can anticipate things. I don't know. It's just a God-given ability. Don't ask me to explain that. And I have enough confidence for about 10 people because I had to, because I'm 6 foot nothing and I weigh nothing. Well, I did back then. Metabolism slows down when you turn about 35 or 40. Now when you're 53, it really slows down. And I take great pride in I want to be the most mentally tough person on the course, on the court, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to let you beat me mentally. You may beat me physically, but I'm not going to let you beat me mentally. And I may have talked trash here or there. That's allegedly. I cannot confirm or deny that. Growing up, so playing mind games, that was kind of the fun of it. That's just a challenge,
right?
So I played a bunch of sports. Again, I just enjoyed playing and competing, and I still do.
I'm your mental toughness got tested when your clubs getting stolen. So I know you got to be mentally tough. I know, I'm like Jeff. I'd have been like, man, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do this.
I can promise you that. Now, I thought never came into my mind.
Well, I'm just talking because I wouldn't pass up the opportunity now to go play any course. It doesn't matter, if it's a course that anybody knows, as long as it ain't a goat track, or something like that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. But yeah.
One of the things that, like I talked after Thursday's round, I hit 5 fairways. I hit 3 greens, played the back first. So on hole 7, which would have been our 16th hole today, I had a really good 9-wood in there, long par 3, like 12 feet. Hit what I thought was a perfect putt and just kind of did a 180 on me. If that goes in, I'm back to 5 over. I was 6 over at the time, I think. That puts me at 5 over. Made par on 8. Finally hit a fairway again on 9, which is really, really, really difficult. That green is very small and very slopey, and it's a par 5 for the public. That green is built to catch wedges and 9 irons, not 7, 8 irons.
Right.
So I was in between 8 and a 9. I took the bigger club, blew it in the wrong bunker, chunked it out, 3-putted, and finished with a 6 to shoot 79. And we were thrilled that we shot 79, but I'm thinking, okay, if that putt goes in on 7 and we can somehow slap around a par on 9, well, now I played 5 over and hit 3 greens. So,
yeah,
the cut's still in play.
Yeah.
And, missing that putt and then making double on our last hole of the day was really kind of a kick in the gut.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your total score. You shot a 79 the first day, but I didn't realize you doubled the last hole so you really didn't play, I wouldn't say terrible at all,
If you would have seen where I hit it off the tee box, you would have said I would have shot 95.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 3 greens?
3 greens the whole day. Got up and down from a little bit everywhere and made, gosh, I probably made 3 or 4 par putts, 8 to 10 feet. It was just that kind of day. You just kind of grinded it out, and it was exhausting. It was really exhausting. Yeah. I could tell you.
Jeff, you was about to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask him about some golf theory here that me and Arthur.
Okay. All right.
Me and Arthur argue.
He asks this to every good golfer that we have on.
That's kind of like my niche of the podcast. Yeah. Everybody has to get asked this question. So I'll just put it out there. I never look at the score. Because if I do, I'm going to choke. I don't care. If I'm up 10 strokes, and it don't matter. If I'm up, I'm probably going to choke. Arthur says, dude, you got to start looking at the score, man. You got to know where you're at, yada, yada, yada. So we played together this weekend. I never looked at the score. I thought I was playing pretty good, though. I bogey 17, I bogey 18, I get second place. I lose by 1 stroke. But I thought back on it, in 18 had water down the left side. I was like, man, if I would have known that I had a chance to win this, dude, I would have pulled it right into the water. But Arthur's theory is I should have looked at the score. Like I could mysteriously make a birdie on this hole if I looked at the score. I just like to know your thoughts on this.
I am always one who, no matter what the sport was, I want to know the situation at all costs. Now, when I played in our qualifier, I said, you know what? Because I was really playing well. And I actually went up on Monday. It was on Wednesday, the 31st. I went up on Memorial Day, and it was raining. And so nobody was really there. So I had the whole course to myself. I probably spent 4.5, 5 hours out there just trying to figure out, okay, if I miss it here, if the pin's here. I mean, I spent hours out there on all 18 holes. Okay. And the reason, the point I'm making is I was playing so well and felt so comfortable that I told myself, I will not look at the scoreboard until I feel like I have to. So I come out, hit a terrible drive on 1, hit a great pitching wedge around a tree, goes up 15 feet, make the putt. I make birdie on the next hole. So now I'm off to a good start. Almost birdie 3, real good up and down in 4. And so then I just kind of start, okay, let's put some pars together. Let's get some options to ourselves for, give our birdie chances. Fire at the middle of the green. Let's make pars because, it's funny how amateur golf think they need to make birdie. Well, there's a reason there's a par there. Pars are good. And so I knew how hard the course was playing. I knew how fast the greens and where the pins were. So I'm just kind of putting, pars together. I'm really not working. I don't want to say it. That sounds arrogant. I don't mean that way, but I really wasn't having as hard as I had to work to shoot 79 at the Open was just the opposite here. I mean, I had tap ins, I had good looks at birdie. I would miss in the wrong spot. Hole 9 is a very difficult hole at Cascades. I spun it off the green, hit and spun, chipped it up to 2 feet, made the putt. So I'm not really having to grind out 6, 7, 8 par footers for par. So I get to hole 12. And in the practice round, I hit a 6-iron in the green. It's a short par 5. And at the Cascades, 10's kind of a quirky hole, but it's short. Downhill par 3, short par 5, and then 13 and 14, 15. You just got to hang on. It's like 440 around water, little creek, 440 back up a hill, 215 par 3. So you just kind of have to hopefully pick up 1, 10, 11, 12, and then hang on for the next 3. Then on 16 and 17, they're back-to-back par 5s that are both reachable. And then you have about 185-yard par 3 to finish. So it's kind of, I broke down the course. Okay, these next 4 holes, let's try to do this. So I get the hole 12, and I'm still sitting at 2 under, and I come out of my drive and hit the worst drive I've hit in 3 years. It's going easily 60 yards right of the fairway, up on hills where there's goats and rams and buffalo and all kinds of crap up there. Well, somehow it ricochets back all the way back down into the rough. I'm like, okay, let's take advantage of this. Let's see if we can make par. At that point, I was like, man, I don't even care about making birdie. Let me just make par and get out of this hole.
Right.
So I make par. I go to the next hole. This hole, I spent 10 minutes on the tee box. I think I hit 6 or 7 tee shots and didn't get one in the fairway. So what happens? I hit it straight in the trees. And at this point, I said, okay, I think I need to look and see where I am because I think I'm in the trees. Do I need to punch out? Do I need to be aggressive and go for the green? I need to know where I stood at this point going into 13, 14, 15, now that I've hit a bad drive on 13. Is all that making sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm looking, as I'm going, walking to my ball, I look at the thing online, and I see that I'm ahead by 1. But I scroll down and I see that there's 2 -1s, there's some evens, there's some +1s, there's some +2s, but they're all finished. So I scroll down and I see the first score that I see active closest to me is +3. Wow. I said, okay, he's about where I am, so I got a 5-shot lead on him. I scroll back down and there were 78 guys. There were 78, 79. There were either 10 or 11 threesomes that haven't recorded any scores. Okay. But I also recognize probably 4 or 5 names on my phone that I'm looking at. I'm like, because most of the good players went off early that I knew of. I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I didn't recognize any of their names. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But I knew there were some really, really good players that went off before me, and they're done. So I said, okay, walk up to the ball. I had a little bit of wasn't quite in the trees, kind of kicked it back a little bit. I was able to get it on the green, 2-putt. Okay, that's 1 down. I go to hole 14. Hit it in an absolute wrong spot on the green. Probably hit the best lag putt I've hit all summer long to about a foot, tap that in.
Wow.
I said, okay, I got 1 more to go before the par 5. And then I'm going to have some decisions to make. So I get up there on 15. It's right in between. It's right through trees. You got to hit it pretty much straight. Pins on the left. I kind of push it right. There's the green, there's a fringe, and then there's the first cut. But the first cut is pretty tight, and it's sitting up so I could putt it. I didn't have to chip it. So, and it's funny because the pin was kind of there on Monday, and I bet I hit 20 chips from about the same spot.
Wow.
Because that's where, this is the miss. You can't short side yourself. You ain't getting up and down from over left. There's no way. So I decided to putt it. Well, with about 3 feet to go, I'm like, oh my God, that's got to slow down.
Thank you for listening to the Burning the Edge podcast. We hope that you enjoyed our conversation that we had with Tony Wise as he was on his journey qualifying for the U.S. Senior Open. This is part 1 of part 2. We have part 2 coming up next week. Please like, follow. Thank you again for listening.